see the heat. wave.
Well, we're at 10:30:21. I don't know how late it's gonna be, so let's go ahead and get to order. Call the order here. Morning.
Morning.
So let's first start off with a roll call.
Rosanna's here.
Daryl's here.
Patrick's here.
Rachel's here.
All right, we got 4 here in attendance. And then, let's go get on roll call. Then Marty, I guess, is joining us a little late, so. Approval of the meeting agenda is next. Go ahead and take a moment to read through. I see something I need to change to it. Well, thank you again for doing it.
Can't even whisper that.
Microphones.
That's needed, well, somebody
Yeah.
heard that.
No.
Don sharing in G too, so. I need to add something to the financials. Because it says Marty will be tasked with buying what is needed, and it says discuss how much underwriting is needed per month. I just need to add on there. I believe Clay agreed to bring a book today to discuss it at this meeting.
Would you repeat that? Oh, you're talking about.
The meeting agenda, I just want to make sure it's noted that I requested that in the last meeting. I don't see it noted in there that he was gonna bring a book for that.
Well, that was in the minutes.
Was it in the minutes?
That's the minutes you're looking at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying from last meeting.
Oh.
You haven't approved the agenda yet.
What's that?
You haven't approved the agenda yet.
Not for the agenda today. I'm talking about the meeting,
Yeah.
last meeting.
We're gonna approve the agenda first for the day.
Approve the meeting agenda. Oh, yeah, I guess I'm ahead of it. Yeah. I'm good with it. Anybody else want to add anything to the agenda?
I'm good.
It's good to me.
It's gonna be quick. It depends if Marty joins or not. Now the approval minutes. Take a few minutes to look at the minutes.
Okay, what did you need added on there?
This is number 5, just a simple little line to add. And it says discuss how much underwriting is needed per month. We're gonna discuss that today. In the last meeting, Clay said he'd be bringing a book to make, so we can do that discussion. It's like a ratings book. What was it called, Clay? The book that you're gonna bring today? Trey, what was the book?
Me?
Yeah, what was the book you're gonna bring today? Did I say Clay? I
Yes.
said Clay, I'm so sorry, Trey. I don't mean, I said misname. Last meeting of when we're gonna talk today about the underwriting stuff, you said that'd be a ratings book or something you have that you would bring to the meeting today. That's all. I just want to put in writing that I requested. That's all. That's it. Because obviously it's gonna be shortened today because we don't have it to talk about it.
What
So
do you need to change?
just need to add this in. Trey, said or advised he would bring the ratings book. Is that what you call it, Clay? Trey?
No, that's why I'm a little confused. You mean the rate sheet?
The book you said you have, you would bring that keeps track of like what the plan and when. For underwriting. The last meeting 2 months ago. Because we were gonna talk about it today.
For underwriting?
And what's this in the name of it? It was something that to bring, whatever you bring to the next meeting, we talk about. What do you call that book? That keeps track of all the sheets,
Yeah.
worksheets?
Yeah, I do. it on
Worksheets,
spreadsheets.
spreadsheets, perfect, spreadsheets. That's it. Thank you. That's it. And the other part that's real important to make sure it's in here is that we requested to spend the last of our money. Not last of it, it's like we spend the money that we had available to get the battery backup, which is very important. And we talked about that, and I think I see it in here just fine, so. Technology as you know, battery backup. Where is it? Saw it, I just read it. Yeah, right here, it's under my financial, need to add a generator to utility expense to the budget and new transfer, 10,000 be used to cover purchasing, but okay, cool, it's in there, thank you. Can I get anybody else want to add anything to the minutes? Can I get approval of the meetings as amended?
Motion to approve the minutes?
Can I get a second? A second. Great. All right, next is public communications. We got 3 minutes, for anybody who would like to provide any opportunity for public comments. And it looks like we have Dawn and G. I think I saw Dawn on there first. Dawn, you have anything to say?
No comments and good morning.
Morning, Dawn, thank you. And we also have G, is there
It's probably Gina.
Eugenia? Great. Gina, do you have anything for this morning? I'll take that as a no. I think we have another opportunity, a little bit, yeah, we do a little bit later in this meeting, so. So no public, anybody in the room, public comments? Great, thank you. All right, next chair's report. I guess that starts with me, so. My biggest concern, of course, is we've had a power outage. We're gonna talk about that today. And the big part of that would be with having Marty available, so. My main thing is just to make sure that the purchasing that we requested by the end of the year was submitted, and if it was, because right now, we had extra, I think we had quite a bit of money in our fund by the end of the year. And we put our budget request in to save the city quite a bit of money. And so that's where I stand at. My main concerns are get the battery backup for the tower, because there isn't currently one, so you spent money for the batteries for that, and also for the backup transmitter, just need to get fixed, so. That was committed by the end of the year to have that happen, and we still had money in coffers that, for the year. And so our new budget was, I believe, we're figuring out underwriting of 1,000, basically, $25,000 of underwriting in 2 years is to offset. That's the income that we can bring in. We can't be self-sufficient yet, but at least we have some coming in. So that's why my whole discussion, I want to talk about the underwriting, and just take a look at what is our underwriting worth? We should be, doing it as a net cost to North Beach Independent Media. That's my only concern there. It's just to have that audit, keep track of that. So I just want to make sure that anybody has what's that?
That 8,000 or 10,000 we had for backup batteries was on last year's budget.
Yes,
It's gone.
end of the year it should be gone.
End of the year, it's gone. So if we didn't get spent for it,
Minutes, so we were talking about spending that money. Unfortunately, Marty's not here to talk about it. I know he submitted it, but I don't know where's that at.
I don't think we got approved. Never heard back from Sarah.
I don't know. And I'm not gonna know until I hear from Marty, really. So, hopefully that's not the case. And if
So I
so,
talked to him the other day and he hadn't heard anything yet.
really, okay. Well, I just, in my report, here, just make sure you know where I'm coming from. My main concerns for my goals are to make sure we address the battery backup issue. And then the other part is just because we're depending on underwriting of 25,000 in 2 years. That's why I'm concerned, is just to make sure that when we're running, underwriting, and this is brought to you by, we're going through, a couple minutes of, these underwriting people are paying for. Well, that's a city resource that time. And so I just make sure that's audited on the city side. So that's it. So, besides that, if Marty's not here on this, I don't want to keep dragging this. If we get Marty to join, I don't know how far we're going to be able to get along on this schedule. I guess we'll find out when we get to that. But that's, I don't have anything else, I think, besides that report. I just want to make sure you guys are clear of where I come from in my for next year. So next would be the station report by Trey and Butch.
Oh, well, mine's a little longer news. Okay. Only two things I've discussed is, one, we pulled CBS News. We just couldn't get it to work. It was a timing issue. It came into our receiver on time, and getting that to our board. There was always a 2 to 6 second lag before it would start, and then CBS News has ads that they run at the end of the broadcast. And so, of course, we have to get those cut off because we're a non-commercial station. And I worked with Marty on this, and we tried a whole bunch of different ways of setting it up. But at the end of the day, we just couldn't get it to work. So we've sent the receivers back. North Beach Independent Media will be having since they're the ones who are paying for it. We'll be having a meeting later this week to look at some different news alternatives.
That's not being paid out of dues and subscriptions?
No, the foundation is. for-
Gotcha.
So there's 2 or 3 different options to look at, so we'll discuss those. And the only other thing I have is that. Okay, you wanna come on? Oh. Anyway, is that,
He's there. He's there. He can talk when he needs to.
okay.
Unmute himself.
in the waiting room.
No, he's not. There's nobody in the waiting room. He's there. That's him.
Is that his number, 1914?
That's probably him.
1914 is his number.
That's him. He's dialed in. He's muted though.
Get unmuting.
He's unmuted on Zoom.
You're muted.
He can, I can't
He's on the
unmute him.
phone, so I don't think he can unmute.
He can hear us.
Then he's not in the waiting room.
Yeah, now you're on speaker, Marty. So anyway, you can hear us, right? I can hear you guys talking.
So he's hearing us over the.
And then I approved it.
Oh, you're approved.
You're in there.
You should be in. Okay. All right. You want me to leave you on speaker here in case you want to say something?
Sure, I'll tell you what, let me try the other call. Kind of weird. I'll call you right back.
Okay.
We'll just work through your phone.
All right.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Anyway, the second thing is I'm getting to, it's that time of year where I'm getting to do the fun task of the sound exchange report, which takes 8 to 12 hours every quarter, and I'm about halfway through it.
What's it called?
Sound exchange.
Oh.
It's our, all right, in the eyes of the FCC, we have 2 stations. Real goes over the airwaves, the second goes over the internet. And it's the internet portion that we have to report every song that we play. And how many times we play it, and you take a sampling of a 2-week period within each quarter. And so it's a very long slug of a report to do. It's thousands of lines on a spreadsheet. Hey, Marty, and I'm halfway through it, so.
Okay, I'm back. I'll leave it here, get on my end, and then you guys get to it. Once I throw the L here, then I'll.
Okay, sounds good.
Did you hear Marty okay? I could.
Mhm.
All right, yeah, we're good. Thank you, Marty. Great. Anything else, Terry? Good.
Okay, my turn. All right, first I want to thank Michelle and the volunteers that helped North Beach Independent Media in a New Year's Eve bash. Very helpful. And I'll put that on record. We're really hopeful that we're gonna get Hamster Andy back in February. He's been out for what, 6 months, 8 months? I think 8 months. And that'd be for him, it's great because he's been in pretty bad shape here for quite a while. So hopefully he's healthy enough to come back and kick me off my Jukebox Memory Show. That was just a temporary show anyway, until he got back this whole spot. We're looking at, Brando's still, when he remotes in, he's still doing the old fashioned way where you have to go through VLC and all that other stuff. And we're looking to upgrade it, his remote, so it's like, just like our Comrex is, you push a button, he's on the air. Now he comes on and kind of interrupts a little bit of the show in front of him, they're trying to get on. Then you got that weird, whatever he puts on, for about 15-20 seconds before he comes on the air. All that should go away. We should be able to just push a button and he'll be on just the way you do it, like we do with the Comrex. And you look, you wouldn't even tell he's not in the studio. Because he lives in Aberdeen. Yeah, he lives in Aberdeen. North Beach Independent Media, we're gonna be having a meeting later on this week, like on Thursday, and we'll be getting ready to start talking about our New Year's Eve beach bash coming up this coming New Year's. Also,
North Beach Intermediate is gonna be doing the bar for the city's Super Bowl party. It's gonna be a beer and wine bar, is what it's gonna be. That's coming up on the 9th. We're looking at getting some professional, promos done for the station, like station IDs and different events for the shows. And Kyle Polly, we used to be with KDUX, I don't know, KXRO or KXRO. And he was released, or they actually downsized their station here about 6 months ago. And he was one of the casualties of that. So I talked to him this morning and he's willing to help us out in place for that. He did a lot of promos in the past. So we're gonna be looking at seeing how much he charges for it. The power outage that we had the other day. The tower was fine. I mean, you could hear it, we were broadcasting fine the tower. The problem is the city generator blew a breaker. And so it was running, but there's no power going out to anything. So we didn't have any powered station, no lights, no, our computers were down. They lasted for about 40 minutes off our UPS. And then when they went out of power, then we were just dead in the water. And finally I got a hold of Scott and Frank, and they came out and Frank found the breaker that switched, flipped the breaker, and then we were back on the air again. But we were off for quite a while.
Did you retire electrician?
Yes, that's why I called him. But Marty was trying to tell me where to go and what you wanted to do. And I said, man,
It's
you know,
called mayor.
I'm not above your pay grade. Above my pay grade, yeah. So Scott didn't have a clue. So I got a hold of Frank, and Frank gave me out there and he knew right where to go. We're back on.
But you know, that's the first time that's happened. I've been with the station for 11 years. 99% of the time, power goes out, generator kicks in.
Wonder why it got added, something got added to the load maybe, or I guess you don't know.
I have no idea what it tripped.
Temperature.
I've never seen it done that before. Like Frank, or like Trey said, it's never happened since I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally it just
Yeah.
comes on and.
It stayed solid after he switched it?
Yeah, Marty. Yeah, so I was gonna address some of this later, but since you guys are touching on it, it's okay if I bid for a minute?
Well, we're almost, actually, Marty, you're next, so maybe just 1 second,
Sure,
you know,
okay,
if that's
go
okay.
ahead. Well, I'm done with my report, so.
There we go. All right, Marty, you're next. There, perfectly done. Thank you. Go ahead, Marty,
Good, Marty. Okay,
your report.
yeah, I think the challenge is, and I already asking him to explain what the root cause of what happens is when a generator starts up, it runs through a few, like 30 seconds or so, and then bam, the transfer switch puts it online. So what probably happened, I'm just guessing or projecting what possibilities there are, is multiple well pumps simultaneously started and something else came online at exactly the same time and could have created enough of a load demand and surge that would have tripped the breaker. The other possibility is that they've added more buildings in that complex. Don't know if they're on backup power or not, but maybe the race calculation will look too close to the margin. And so basically what I recommend is they talk to the generator maintenance team. I suspect that's an outside company, and that they'll be able to do a load test both on the generator by itself and full load test, and then also be able to measure the existing loads and then create a new expectation for how much power that generator can actually supply to the city. So yeah, unfortunately, that's a big circuit breaker too, somewhere north of 400 amps, 480 volts. So, you know, we're not talking little 200 amp circuit breaker in your house. It's a pretty sizable switch and breaker. So, you know, we can guess all we want what the root cause was at this point, and I'm hoping somebody to look at it, because nobody wants us to come back again. So, as far as our studios go, man, I was surprised that everything held up as long as it did. That's a bonus, even though, microwave beer, stayed out until the bitter end. And then fortunately, everything came back online without too much, challenge. So, that was pretty much what I was gonna say about that. I don't know if anybody has any questions, I can try to field.
Well, one good thing is, I know where Sprinklr is now.
Yeah, but, big one on the generator.
Right.
So, the other thing was, on, new technology, just, the new administration, Trump has meeting with the commissioner. And so there's some expectation that, several aspects of, broadcasting and in general, SVC matters, making it, technical aspect, it's unlikely that they're willing to sacrifice, the technical, range, but anything is possible. I mean, we know already that the administration, change, so, there could be some of that ahead. And, it might be a benefit, might be able to, some, opportunity for, additional fundraising. I don't know. Again, kind of the best case projecting what might happen. Might be probably that they're trying to have funding for a corporation, public broadcasting, other public that you're on there. That maybe they'll say, hey, some limited ability to run a commercial on a non-commercial station. That might work, because that way we're not trying to take money or seek funds from other actual government agencies. This would be something that might be attractive. So there's some food for thought. That's all I have from that side.
Thanks, Marty.
You have anything else for your report at all, Marty? I guess that's it for the tech report.
Yeah, that's it for this point. And then when we get around to the last part, what we talk about.
You got it. Gotcha.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Council liaison report by our new representative today. Sitting with us, Richard Willis.
Amazing.
Thank you, Richard. Maybe later tonight, Doug. Financials is next. So we have a sheet here. Now, this is from November. I think I saw the note that December was not because it's not ready yet.
You can't start processing December until January 20th, because they
Okay.
have to wait till all the
Gotcha.
December clearings go through, because it's the end of
Alright.
the year.
Well, the revenue on the station side is 15.5 and ACE is 23. It looks a little higher, looks like. Quick.
So yes, December is still in progress.
Gotcha. All right, one thing to note, I did get I don't think Phoebe saw, I think you maybe did, Butch, or maybe traded too, at right at the end of the year, like last day of the year. Cleo wanted to donate some money to the station.
He does that every year.
Yeah, how much do they, I'm just curious, I didn't even ask how much, I just directed them to call, Sarah
It's,
and.
it's been
Get a receipt.
between 125 and 250.
Dollars.
Yeah.
Not thousands.
No.
Okay, I was just curious, thank you. Anything, I don't know, any questions on the financials?
Risk report here.
Yeah, not a whole lot there, you can't really tell, so I guess, get a motion to approve the financials as shown, but man, I think we need to put a little note on there that in the minutes or something that we're lacking, because of the date, so. I don't know what to do there. Let's move on. Motion of, approve what we see. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't either. I mean, it's not really like, yeah,
Yeah.
what do we do at that point? It's like, it's inadequate really for.
Table it.
Table it. There you go. Yeah, let's motion to table this for the next, there we go. Yep. Get a second? All right, there we go. Thank you. Board member report. Back to you, Marty. Do you have anything to add for the board member report side? Of course, separate from the later discussion.
You still there, Marty?
Yeah, I'm still here, just a second to get through the page. No, I think, other than just that, we're gonna just kind of hold the course for right now as far as technical stuff goes, and, look for opportunity to make changes that might improve, the budget profile, and, those are kind of my thoughts at the moment. I have not investigated further yet, but I will, do that. The idea of dropping the SM from KOSW SM. We can just go back to KOSW probably. There's a no fee process, and as long as their mission is accepted, we may be able to drop the SM portion. That will simplify our station back to the way they. That's all I got for now.
Great. Thank you, Marty. Daryl, board member report.
Nothing. Oh, Daryl. Never mind.
You know Maryland's.
Yeah, I got a couple.
All right.
This is the last week of basketball that KOSW will be doing. There's a game, there's four more evenings. It's Wednesday, tomorrow night at 7, Thursday at 6 p.m. Saturday, they've got a double header at 1:30 and 3. And Monday is a double header at 5:30 and 7. That's all next week. And TV is planning on maybe doing some,
Oh, you said Monday, 5:30.
yep, Monday, next week,
Last game.
not today. You're off the hook today. No, last night,
Today's
Tuesday.
Tuesday, no, I had Saturday and Monday backwards, so.
Ah. Yeah.
Can I ask, that sounds like something that might be appropriate for me to say in my liaison report. So what should I say? To alert the public that you guys are transmitting the local basketball.
Boys and girls basketball game will be live on KOSW.
except by the time you, oh, no.
Tonight's the city council meeting. Yeah. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thursday tip off is at 6 p.m.
So what I want to say, rather than try to give the times, because nobody will take those notes, where can they find the times?
Probably
On our website,
Okay.
KOSWradio.com. See, Rich, what happens is we simulcast along with North Beach
Right,
TV.
right.
So not many school districts can actually have a live play-by-play going on at the same time you can watch it on YouTube,
Right,
just
okay,
like you were watching.
yeah, okay.
That very few 2B teams
Yeah.
have that.
So how do I properly identify the TV station?
That'll be on North Beach TV.
North Beach TV.
On YouTube, on the YouTube channel.
Is it ever gonna go 68?
It is, if it wants to.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It is right now, yes. So the last
Live?
game we did, we went live to the 68, like the Zero thing that you guys have got. We went to the new hardware, software, but we are short the last 2 inches. Plugging it into channel 68 at the studio, but our device is up and running.
So like next year when football, basketball comes on, you're gonna be able to do it both YouTube and channel 68?
Yes,
It's like, that's cool.
yes.
So again, my pencil's slow, KOSW.com, correct?
It was
Yeah,
radio.
radio.
Radio.com, thank you.
Where's the phone? That says waiting.
If you-
Anything else, Daryl?
Yes. Oh, he's done.
Oh, okay.
I'm done.
Got it. Marty tells us that, the Washington State Association of Broadcasters is again having their news media day in Olympia. And it's a pretty much an all-day event for us. It starts at noon on March 13th and it goes to about 7 PM. And it's,
Can you give me a ride?
yeah, if you want to go,
That was fun.
yeah. So it's just gonna say, if anybody wants to go, it'd be a good thing to do. It's kind of interesting, to meet a lot of, we met in past, they met the governor, we didn't sign up for that one because that went later on. But you met the assistant governor, what the guy's name is, or
Lieutenant Governor.
lieutenant governor, yeah. And a bunch of the legislators, they talked about Washington State's opinion about broadcasting. And it's put on by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters, and it's a great set of meetings. And also the last thing is that one of the things that the TV side wanted to do was to simulcast a lot of our programming, like we do the TV channel. A lot of people have asked if we could simulcast it on YouTube. And yes, we can, but no, we may not.
It's not just that easy.
So when the power went out, our new hardware, after our continuous battery supply died, when it kicked back on, when the power was back on, it goes, oh, okay, I'll reset everything that I'm supposed to reset. And one of the things it reset was one of the test streams to YouTube. And so YouTube was going, okay, I gotcha. And it was squirting out our new channel 68 on YouTube. And then as soon as YouTube sensed that Roseanne played a bunch of copyrighted music, YouTube goes, hey, wait a minute, you can't do that. And they gave us 56 violations. And so we're not, so basically what that tells me is that in the future, when we finally switch over, one of the things I thought that we could do, we can't do, and that's stream KOSW over YouTube. So we can do it over channel 68 like we're doing right now. And we can probably do it when we start our own streaming on our own app, would probably be okay. We think, unless there's other robots that goes out and catches us. So we'll find out when we start.
You could if you signed up for IBM and sounds, all that stuff, right?
Not IBM,
No,
BMI.
BMI and ASCAP.
BMI and ASCAP.
They're the big licensing things, but I think YouTube doesn't want to mess with it. So they just go, nope, go again.
Yeah, it's basically, it's not that they can't do it, it's just, it violates YouTube's term of service.
Yeah. So, and even though you got the license, you can't do it there. Now, if we do our own stuff, our own app, you can do things and like to Facebook. And the one guy that he does church services out of Shelton, and he always puts down music is provided by license number XYZ. And so he's able to stream that.
So if we ever put a camera in the studio and want to do simulcast live stream, we can do it on YouTube, just do it on 68.
Yep.
So if you're going to simulcast YouTube and 68 at the same time, that probably won't happen, right?
Not on YouTube, correct. Yeah, can't do
Because you can't separate it once you simulcast.
it. Well, unless you're not playing music.
I mean, can you play something else on YouTube and something different on 68 at the same
Yes.
time?
I have 128 episodes of The Lone Ranger.
There you go. That'll
Put
be-
that in. Yeah.
Thoughts of my 7-year-old.
And that's all that.
Good, thanks, Daryl. Rosanna,
Nothing.
all righty, Marilyn,
Nothing.
all right. And for me, I pretty much don't have anything to add. All right, smell notes, so. All right, on to old business, battery backup for the tower. So we talked a little bit about this a bit. The main thing was I want to make sure that we get this in the minutes and stuff, is that we, the last meeting, we discussed and put a motion to spend some money we had left, not all of it, just some, on some needed battery backup batteries for the tower. Yes, I know it didn't go out this last time, but it went out the time before. And, we got, video showing PUD rolling their generator out of there and in there. Anyway, and so the goal is to have the batteries on the tower for the future. So in case that, they do lose power up there, we don't have our tower goes down. And then we also were to spend some money on the backup transmitter, get that fixed, because it'd be good to have. I mean, you know, we can always roll it around somewhere if need to remote. It's just something to, it wasn't a huge expense either, really. And so that was the goal in November. It was given to Marty to get the pricing and get that submitted as a purchase to the city. And so I just want to make sure that we have that in the minutes here, that that was, you know, our timeline, and that we have that submitted and such. That's what we need to talk about, see what happened on our end and where we're at. And yes, Daryl.
Well, I have a question on the backup batteries. That's a backup battery to run the gear that squirts it up to the transmitter, or backup battery power for the transmitter. I think it would count.
It's actually both. Most of it was for the tower, the money part. The other part was to fix, I believe, is the transmitter. If I may be wrong, but it wasn't, we have a
Two
second.
separate things,
Yeah, two was this transmitter.
The spare transmitter we have, that we sent back to get fixed, got it back, had to send it back to get fixed, came back. And anyway, it's still, the third time it's being fixed, it's still sitting in Spokane. Because we haven't paid the bill on it yet, and there's some confusion on the city saying, you know, we paid that, and they're saying, no, we haven't. And so we gotta get together and find some receipts that are, you know, from the city to make sure that they paid for it so we can get the thing back. So when Marty gets back in town, I want to set up a meeting, not only about talk about that, but some other things with Sarah and Frank, and sit down and talk to them about the transmitter, the battery backup at the transmitter, and different things that we have that we need to get cleared up.
Sure. So it is two different things that were to be purchased or money they spent on. Majority of that cost that was for the battery and the power. So I guess, Marty, what's the latest? If I remember right, you were able to get some a purchase order or something submitted to Sarah, was that right?
Well, Sarah and Bush, we get an email, a list of items that are specific to build out the battery backup system. I think it's a 4-hour runtime or up at the primary tower site, the American Tower site. And the expectation was that all of these items, I have specifically listed them all as items that are available for prompt delivery through Amazon, just to make it easy for everybody, because I know that she has access to the Amazon account, things like that. So I put all of these items together, and the hardware totaled out to just under $7,700, $7,691.16, and then I threw out about 10% Washington State sales tax, so that brought the grand total up to $8,460.28. The labor, there was no labor on it's a project that's well. I have not heard one peep about what the status of that order request is or was, whether it was ever actually received or anything. So I don't know. Nicole maybe have some insight as to whether that actually was looked at, and then somebody upstream decided, well, we'll just let the whole surplus fund that is part of the annual budget. Okay, I was telling you to revert back to the city. And I can understand that, you know, they're looking for every nickel back. Situation at that point ground. And it's possible that there was just a top down decision that, you know, hey, that's something that's important for follow-up. I have purchased personally, and I'll put it in all that, a safety switch for the electrical panel at the tower site. At the present time, and I've sent information to Bush on how if the power did go out up there, say today, my generator is still, as far as I know, locked at the base of the tower there, and the wiring is easy to lay out and hook up. But there's tape on the transfer switch. We don't have a transfer switch, but on the breakers within the electrical panel, and that's not the way we do something like this. Yeah, don't turn it on, things like that. So I purchased a lockout device. Inexpensive, but it goes out of the panel itself, and that way you can't act it until we turn the generator on when there still is primary power. And you have to literally turn off switch from the utility. So that takes me to a little additional items that I thought about while you guys were covering some other things. Something we need help determining or getting is we need some contact within the city to know, right? Is there somebody at the city who's responsible for the power systems there? We don't know if they were dispatched. So I think it's really important to determine. Contact with affected phone numbers. And one of my concerns on top of that is that not only with cable and all of the city work yards, which may very well include the telephone. Not sure if that will build up. They may have a lot of BS on that, I don't know. But the city department and along with WHM amateur radio that is located on the tower. So there's a lot that happens if we do like that, and it can ripple out very quickly to impacting other departments. And so we need to get some critical contact numbers and have them know that the people. Which I think you ended up calling our former mayor.
Yeah, I had to get hold of John Martin.
Really.
What's that about? I mean, my gosh, when I call in, when there's a power outage and I know about it, and I call the Great Harbor number, it asks me for information that I don't have. It asks for a telephone number at the site. Well, you know, even though we have a telephone number there that I pay for, it's not the city one that is used for referencing billing, I guess, which is what is normally associated with some an address that's being powered by Great Harbor. So that's what. The other hiccup is they want to know, like, what's the electrical meter account number, a bunch of other stuff when you're trying to report a commercial outage. So we need to find out how do we get that information from the city so that we can be involved in a positive way of getting the outages dialed down so that they're as short as possible, just by informing the Great Harbor about the fact that our site happens to be down. So I don't know, food for thought. I appreciate any feedback and who we can contact. Maybe again, I need to put a burden on the goal or the she already carries, but perhaps finding out some of these numbers and contact individuals is within our purview. And I'm open to answer questions if anybody has any thoughts or comments.
I've got a comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Daryl.
I did notice a thing on, like a complaint on Facebook about saying, someone said, oh, I thought KOSW is supposed to be the emergency radio conduit. So immediately I went to listen to, tune in to see if the stream was still there. And then at that time it was, I didn't have any power, but I was on a UPS, so I could pick it up. And it was still going, and it was an old radio show was plugging away. And I thought, oh, well, it's still on the air, so it must not be too bad. But yeah, I agree with Marty that we need to be privy to some special information immediate, so you can tell people that whatever the ETA for PUD must be.
I can add to what Darryl said. Okay, I get a call from Lon, who was getting ready to do his show. He was there at the station getting prepped to come on at 10 o'clock and whatever time that. And it was old time radio, it was gonna play before he got there. Now, Lon, he panics. He says, calls me up and says, I don't have any power. I says, well, you should have power. I mean, the generator's running. You hear a generator? Yeah. Well, I don't have any lights. What do you mean you don't have any lights? You know, I'm sitting there confused because this has never happened to us before, right? I says, well, is your computer's running? Yeah, the computer's running, but there's no lights, there's no nothing else. I says, so I got dressed and came. So there's a time lapse for me to get dressed, get down to the station, hand him some information to read over the air, what's going on. Okay, and not only at that time, the UPSs were running out of power, so our computers were shutting down, so we weren't even on the air. Okay, so the UPSs were only good for about 45 minutes. Okay, and once they lose power, and the generators not kicking on, we have zero power at that station, right? So I couldn't broadcast anything, couldn't tell anything, the stream was down, the phones were down because the phones are on the internet side, and when the internet's down, we don't have phones, right? So, yeah, we could be an emergency station, but you gotta have power to broadcast anything, and we didn't have it.
Yeah.
So there's always an excuse, but everybody's really quick to call up or on social media and say this stuff about us, right? Same thing happened with the tornado thing. It took me 10 minutes to get from that meeting I was at to the station to get on the air and talk about the tornado warning. I ran there fast as I could, or drove fast as I could.
Well, they complained because you got done talking about it when it was all gone. It's like, well, I thought it was an emergency station, but it was, the tornado threat was over.
Well, we stopped talking as soon as,
Yeah.
we were watching it the whole time, and as soon as it crossed over North Beach, I said, the Archman's over here, right?
Yeah.
So, but. Yeah, people are really fast to go on there and complain about something immediately before we even get a chance to get set up for it. The other thing I want to get Richard Wills in, yeah, Marty?
Yeah, I was just gonna interject, and the other challenge, of course, with any of the social media flags is how many of them are posted on different versions of Ocean Shores 95.69, Ocean Shores, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can't cover all the bases. It's just,
Cause I went back to make a comment on the one you're talking about. I couldn't find it.
and there were no responses from us that I saw, which may be inappropriate. I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea.
Yeah, Marty.
to come back and say we have minutes. I don't know.
Marty, after texting with you, I gave you a thumbs up. I went back and I couldn't find the comment. I couldn't remember what chat it was in. So
Same here.
after I had to text you, I couldn't find it. I did go to do that, but I couldn't find it.
After I checked on YouTube,
Yeah.
I couldn't find it either.
Yeah.
It was, and now it's like.
Well, where was it? You know, so, okay.
All right, I want to bring Richard up to speed here about the emergency if the tower goes down. Okay, if the tower goes down, obviously we can't broadcast from the tower. We have our old transmitters for the old LP site, right? That sits in the generator room that we turn on during when the tower is down, and so we can broadcast locally. I mean, it's very limited. It's only in the Ocean Shores area, and not all of Ocean Shores gets covered. That's one reason we went to full power. The problem we have is when our transmitter is sitting in that room, they're susceptible to salt air. And what happens, it corrodes out the guts of the transmitters. And that's why that one sitting in Spokane being repaired.
This is the one we're talking about.
Yeah, the one we're trying to get back, because it's a lot newer than the one we got in. The one we got in there is probably 25 years old. And I don't know how long it'll last. Or older, yeah, it's one of the original ones when the station first started up. And those are really low power transmitters. So that's our emergency backup. Without having any emergency backup at the tower, that's what we have to rely on, is that one there. And we just go in there with a garage opener and turn on the power for it. And it comes on, then we have to turn it off when the tower comes back on. But that's what where we're at right now. That's why we have no emergency power at the tower right now, except for that generator. And then I can't get to the tower without help because I can't get into that. They got this freaking lock on that gate. I can't get my big hand in
Yeah.
there and I can't see that it's a little combination things, right? So I have to bring someone with me that can open the gate so I can get up to the tower itself.
So my comment on all of that is your low power stuff on rubber rafts, so when the tsunami hits, we can still broadcast and be facetious.
No, this is the thing that we were talking about. A couple things we'd like to do. One, at the tower, if we could get to the tower, we got a computer up there, we get a mic up there, we can actually broadcast
Right.
from the tower.
I remember.
Plug right in, yeah.
Okay, the other, forgot what else I was gonna say. What was it? That's,
But the idea is to have this battery backup would provide 4 hours.
Right.
That's what the 7,000 is for.
Yeah,
so if you're building a tsunami tower,
Uh,
we'd like to put a little station on top of that tsunami
Makes
tower.
sense.
That we could, in a little like closet area, that'd be, so it's weatherproof in there.
There's a grant in the works. I don't know what its status is, but I think that we, the city, are on the verge of moving forward with the tsunami tower that's being virtually totally funded by either the state or the feds. I don't remember.
Well, we'd have to have a generator up there.
Yeah.
We'd have to have, put an antenna on it. Yeah, go ahead, Randy, Marty. Randy.
Perhaps you could relay to him that I very much enjoy the opportunity to sit down with Richard and kind of go over all of this stuff when I get back to town. And if he would, maybe you could give him my phone number, and when time is convenient for him, we could take an hour coffee break or something like that. And I can kind of spell out some of the big picture, and perhaps it would be appropriate to have Patrick and or you involved, but not absolutely necessary. So I just want to make it so that, we can.
I welcome that opportunity, and if you can hear me, my phone number, if you got a pencil, 360-370-5040. Call me. I'm retired. I'm available anytime I'm not at the doctor, and I'm not at the doctor very much.
Thank you, Richard. I got the area code 360.
370-5040.
370-5040.
Got it.
So 360-370-5040.
Correct. And just call me up. I would love to have that sit down.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to
Okay. Now,
action for the station also.
so I have one more question, and it's again for my liaison report tonight. And what this whole discussion seems pretty important that the public understand. And what I wrote down, I've got to kind of clean it up before I present it. But what I wrote down is the radio board is investigating power outage procedures because the emergency broadcasting, 911 dispatching, and city phones can potentially be affected by a power outage if we don't have this tower battery backup.
I don't know about 911.
Well, I inferred that from the police and fire radio.
Yeah, well, the radio, you were saying, I think it was you, Butch, was when the power's out, that it affected the fire department radio?
No, when
The generator wasn't working?
that generator wasn't working, nothing works.
What was it with the fire though that didn't work? 911 still works, of course, but what didn't work with the fire department? What did it affect?
Okay. Let me explain that if I could. So the fire department and the police
Okay,
On a completely different hilltop, northeast of Shore. And it services several agencies within Aberdeen, Illinois, as well as Shores and out there. So from the standpoint of calling
We just lost him.
Oh,
Elma or Raymond, something like that. And then what they use, they dispatch police, fire, and medic over the radio system that I was just describing. However, to prevent overload of that system when action is going on within a community, Ocean Shores, the city of Ocean Shores, has some what they call tactical frequencies that are used by the police and fire departments to talk among themselves and be able to
Okay,
talk about where they want to lay a fire hose or whatever to avoid overloading the use on main channels. Well, those radios went down completely during this generator outage. So it's tactical frequencies that were unavailable.
gotcha.
it's that,
Yeah,
so Marty, anything that was on our tower or the city tower there went down, right?
I'm sorry, say again?
Anything that was on the city tower there by the station, when that went down, nothing worked up there. That was attached to that tower, right?
Yeah, or unless they had a UPS on it, yes.
yeah.
Which is illustrated in the way that KOSW had what I would call a monument failure.
That's an important generator.
Lasted as far as it could, UPS.
Right. The other thing that we're lacking.
Wait, does that help with you?
I think so. When we're all done, and the meeting's adjourned, then I want to make sure I refine this note.
Gotcha.
So I am clear and accurate when I make I want to talk to
Yeah.
the
Your report.
liaison report.
The other thing that we need to correct is our phone systems run through Coast.
Yes,
Okay, we need an alternative.
you need an analog line.
We need something other than Coast as an emergency
Yeah,
backup.
Yeah, we do, and also that we can get that text number I've been talking about too with it.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely, that's something we need to,
Because people want to call the station and find out what's going on and our phones aren't working. Even though we're broadcasting, the phones aren't working.
how about, do I have a motion to discuss that in their new business coming up here in a second? By adding an analog line?
Could have a cell line.
No, I think we need an analog actually right there in the, well, cell's not bad, but then it's costing
I
more.
like to be,
we've got to talk with the city, IT, because they have contracts with various folks, and there may be, I hate to say it, but there may be a exclusivity contract, that they're, I don't know, again, we just need to talk to the right people.
we need to try to keep the same phone numbers, right?
Yeah,
Well, how about board?
I just wanna get a motion move forward to do that, who would do that, so. Who would actually talk to the city and check on?
Well, there's fiber optic too, that Public Works.
That's true,
That's Century two.
Century Line.
yeah. Either way, we gotta get a line,
It just
I think we
doesn't
agree.
touch
Now, just switch over from Coast to Century Link. And the city's got backup, right? Because their phones will work,
Yeah.
right? When the generators run, their phones work, right?
Well, they have voice
Alright.
phones now. They have voice over IP phones, so their whole phone system is in the cloud. I don't know about the whole system, I doubt the whole system. They have alarm lines and stuff like that, and towers and the water systems, all those things should be on analog lines, because you don't, but it would have a mix, I would assume, but their new system is a cloud system. So all those phones are all
I think
IP
we'll
phones.
be right when we get a better picture, because it may not match
Okay.
what we're hoping it does.
I will just make a note, I will make a note and look into adding a phone line. I'll just want to put it in there that, for next meeting, I'll see what's going on with that. Can we do that? If so, I won't do it. I'll just look into doing, it, you know what I'm saying? It's what the feasibility of it.
Well, they broadcast this as an emergency station, but we need some help too.
Yeah,
And the other thing people gotta understand, our station isn't manned 24/7. It's all volunteers, right?
absolutely.
So when an emergency happens, sometimes there's nobody at the station, we have to get there.
We don't have someone getting paid to stand
Right.
by to go
Right.
drive and plug in the generator.
Right.
Yeah, understood. Okay, so, Marty, you got anything, I mean, I guess really this, we're talking about the battery backup for the tower. And you mentioned you turn stuff into the city, so, you know, we need to, you know, next steps, we need to find out what happened, so. I guess, Marty, would you mind pinging that when you get back in town, just to see, you know, or I guess one of us could, just reach out to the city?
I'll check in with everybody.
Okay, yeah, please do. Go ahead. I'll just make note there that you're gonna check in with the city and see the progress of that and what happened. So that'd be great.
Too bad that can't be retroactive. 'Cause
Yeah.
We sent it in
I
and
know.
the money was there at the time.
Yeah, because I just finger point and I want to say, hey, we did it on our end, so. And then if not, I mean, it is what it is. If it's too late, then we gotta move, you know, forward and see what we need to do to add it, but let's find out if, who knows, maybe it did get ordered. It was just,
Well, we have to do an amendment to
Yeah.
the budget, right, Rich?
I don't know, we'll see, you know?
It seems to me, speaking out the cup, but if the money was there last year, and it's disappeared, but it's gone into the general fund, and I'm not the finance guy, but it seems reasonable that we, the council, with finances, expertise, may be able to pull that money back and
Yeah,
reallocate it, but that's a possibility that needs to be discussed, and that's actually between you and Sarah.
yeah,
And then from there, it'll go to city council, but
gotcha.
it sure seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, we had 60,000 in November, so we had at least $50,000
Right.
excess. I was like, okay, well, we're only using not even $10,000 worth. I think it was about 10 when we added in the transmitter fix. It's pretty close to that or under.
But
So,
until
yeah,
we get
absolutely.
end of year stuff all done, we really don't know where we're at anywhere on the budget.
Gotcha.
And so
Okay.
we're all waiting.
All righty, so I think that's it for that, old business list. Anybody else has anything else to talk on that topic? We'll have Marty get a report back and we'll go from there. New business is the underwriting revenue discussion. Now this pertains to the, what I was saying earlier, my, report earlier, my agenda for the year is, of course, you know, take care of this battery backup, but also to, you know, the city council, of course, they want us to be self-sufficient, and I agree. I don't know if we can get there, but we need to be there as much as possible. So that's why the budget, again, we put in, we're counting on, you know, the underwriting money. So, you know, to start with that, we would normally have, you know, if we're gonna be a station and stuff, I mean, you have on air, you have some time that you're selling, basically, well, you would have a rate for that. And so, you know, what is this rate that's, you know, that we're underwriting? What is that, you know, per minute or per, you know, what it should be, or where is it at? So, we're not gonna be able to talk about much of it today, though, because we're gonna, you know, we need to look at some, you know, some numbers and stuff, but the whole thought is, you know, a station should have, you know, your rates, and you have agency rates, you know, so in my mind, North Beach Independent Media is a nonprofit, advertising agency. It's the best way for me to look at it, keep it separate from the city and the city's resource. So, you know, that's why I'm always it's just focused on the city side. You know, what is that agency rate for these things that we're hearing on the air? What does that pay? Well, you know, through the last year and a half or 2 years, it pays, you know, we're told they could pay $12,000, $12,500, so 25 a year. That's hopefully what it pays. So we just want to try to track that. That's all my goal of that. I don't care about the North Beach media side, what it's sold for. I think people need to make money. I get that. Absolutely. Hopefully make them more. I think we're probably selling too low. Honestly, we probably sell 3 times as much and people can make, who knows?
Well, one thing is,
You know,
happening in this whole thing is, I talked to Sarah about it, is we've kept our budget low for the city. Mainly our budget mainly is for expenses. But bills, they pay utilities, our licensee fees in the tower, basically is what the budget covers.
What the city covered?
What's that?
What the city, that's what the city.
The city, keeping our budget, when we ask for the budget, that's why it's low. The biggest thing on there is the tower. That's about 80,000.
Oh, it's huge, yeah.
In a 2-year budget, it's like 80 grand. That's most of the budget. Okay, the rest of it is for your BMI, your ASCAP, sound exchange, all those different bills that we have to pay. and utilities. All the other stuff that the day-to-day operation of the station and the things the station likes to do comes out of our underwriting that NIMBY brings in.
Well, no, it comes under the first two topics, like all the Ace Hardware and all the office supply, all that
But
stuff.
that through
Yeah.
that, we pay for, keep it out of the city budget, we get to pay for all that stuff. And then at the end of the year, if whatever excess we have, we sign it back over to the city. But, basically, you can come out there and check, talk to us, station sometime and look at it if you want, see how it works, but it saves the city a lot of money as far as our budget goes.
Like, for example, let's say a computer quits working, starts freezing up. Rather than do a requisition to Sarah, Nicole, and they have to research it, and then maybe a few weeks later, a computer comes in. I'm the treasurer of our nonprofit, so Butch comes to me and he goes, okay, we've got this computer, how much money do we have in we use fund accounting on KOSW fund? Oh, we got plenty of money, okay, we pick out a computer, 3 days later, new computer goes in.
Shouldn't be the way though. You should go through the first way.
Why?
Because it's allocated there. It's in the budget to do that, you know,
It's not
that's
in
what
the
we
budget.
have these different.
No, it's not in the budget. We don't put that in our budget.
Small tools and equipment. Go under there, or, I mean, we had 60-something thousand, $50-something thousand extra.
Well,
2 years, I know
that
you
was
didn't know the tower
allocated
was
to
gonna
the
be, I
tower.
get that.
That wasn't meant.
These other budgets didn't get used all the way. I mean, those have just gone through there in the right channels, like CBS News, that should go through dues and subscriptions. I was surprised to hear that NIMBA is paying for that. That's what dues and
No,
subscriptions
the
is
city
for.
wasn't gonna let us, wasn't gonna pay for it.
Why wouldn't they? Who says it would?
You can argue it all you want, but I can tell you what it is.
Marty, did you have something?
Just a quick interjection. We had a certain amount of money allocated by the city to build the tower site of that American Tower. I was able to keep that under budget, unfortunately, not as under budget as I wanted to because of the way the city contracting requirements fall. But there was money left over from that allocation. I don't allow, they being the city bean counters, were allowed to reallocate that into the KOSW budget, or because it was specifically aligned with developing the tower site up there, that anything that happened that ended up being surplus would just be a non-expense to the city, and that would be the end of the story. I just wanted to interject that because there is a confusion factor, I think, a compounding factor between the budget allocation for building the new tower site as opposed to the regular operating budget that you guys are addressing now. So I'm not sure where all those.
So Marty, are you saying that the November number, of course, this is from 2 months ago, but end of November where it shows $61,000 of funds remaining, that a lot of that, of course, it's, well, it's $60,000 at that point. You're saying that the tower and building the tower wasn't even in that number, really? That's separate. This is $60,000.
I was allocated $150,000.
Gotcha.
$150,000 for the build out. I'm pretty sure it came in at under 130, but again, I don't know how the road allocation.
Gotcha.
At the city level. But there should have been some margin of left.
Yeah, we pay like $3,500 a month rent on that tower. I mean, it's expensive, so.
Well, the build out didn't include any
Yeah,
rent costs.
it just reinforces we have a lot of money left.
Installation cost of my crew that I had to prove out there. Yeah, I don't know if that was able to get applied to the
let me just say, before there was a tower,
Yes.
our budget, like, per year was $7,500.
Still is.
I mean, that's not a lot of money, and of that $7,500, we've got to pay. I think they've upped it now, 2,000 to Sound Exchange. I think it's 1,000 to ASCAP. BMI is a little bit less, and CSAC, the third licensing agency, is a little bit less. We have 2 or 3 other annual things we have to pay. So once you paid for those sorts of things, it left us, like, for, the year. And like, if we had a major problem, we would have to go and ask the city council for a budget amendment. They'd have to actually vote to allocate money to, like, if a transmitter went down or something like that. So I think most of that $60,000 that you're talking about was earmarked for tower expenses, because like I said, generally from year to year, our budget with the city is about $7,500.
Yeah, it shows you right on the sheet what was earmarked here and what's appropriated, so. Each of our accounts, there's a lot though that we didn't spend, I mean. And some that we overspent a bit. Unspent balance, the biggest part here is. Operating lease, they thought there'd be another 23,000 in that, just in the lease, at least that's what was under there, but.
Give a hand to your left.
What's up?
So
Give a hand.
Oh, sorry,
I want to hopefully try to clarify, and again, I'm not a finance expert, I've been studying the budget a lot, and there's a lot of pieces that I'm getting a hold of. But one of the things that's very clear is if we consider all of the funds as individual buckets, and if I'm on my own personal checkbook, I can take it out of this bucket and put it in that bucket to my heart's content, but the city can't do that. And if it's in this bucket, sometimes it can't be moved.
yeah,
And
No.
so part of this discussion says, gee, I don't know if the $60,000 is in a what's the word, a non-volatile bucket, can't be touched, and it may be. And again, that's a discussion between you guys and the finance department. So that $60,000 in reality, in my mind, I don't think actually means anything.
well,
And because
as a sum, no, it doesn't, absolutely not, but just so you know, we justify the battery backup because the utilities, we had $17,000 extra in that, so power is certainly under utilities, that's the list of the 60. 17,000 of that was for just utilities, so that's where we justified doing that, and repair and maintenance. And again, that was where the computer would go under, we had $7,000 left. In that part. So of course, maybe some of that went some other areas, but by North Beach Independent Media spending and doing things, it throws off everything, but what do we really need or not? It makes it feel mushy. It's really, you look at this as, I look at it as like, okay, we're a radio station, let's be a radio station, and we're a city run, and so we're budgeted, we're constrained, which is great. Okay, we got some rails. So, but to look at the income side of it, to try to be self-sufficient, again, I want, get to the underwriting. That's great. We got this means of making some money for the station and for people that are selling it. Great. Well, what's the wholesale cost to the city? That's all I'm concerned about. That's all I'm concerned about.
There's a lot more to this than what you think. Owned by the city restricts KOSW doing a lot of.
Absolutely. We can't sell it ourselves. That's why you have to do it through an outside source.
That's right.
The
That's why
city
we
can
bring
go
the
to
money
any
from
advertising it needs
outside.
to be.
We can't, as volunteers, KOSW can't go out and, I can't ask Roseanne to go out and sell underwriting for free.
No, that's why this is
We
great.
cannot pay her a commission through KOSW. She
I
has to
understand.
sell it through North Beach Independent Media, so
Yes.
she gets a commission and an incentive. to go out
Yes,
and
but
sell.
North Bay Independent Media has to be separate, that's where you guys are wearing two hats, it's kind of mushy, you're wearing a hat for Northeast Independent Media, but you're also wearing a hat as a station manager and assistant station manager. So, that it can cause some gray areas, it's like, so I'm just trying to make it black and white. And so, okay, I'm really just looking for the city. That's it, the time, it says resource. And so what is this resource that we're hearing played? What is that getting paid to the city each time it's played?
Half of the thing about a radio station's marketing. Okay? Okay, the events that we do, they wanna give away swag to advertise radio station, you know, whether it's water bottles or whatever we buy for that. KOSW can't buy those, cause they can't give them away. It's a gift of public funds, right? So it has to be bought through a nonprofit like North Beach Independent Media that we don't donate it, we actually are getting with KOSW's logo on it, but we are providing the material to give away. So it's not coming out of any city coffers for that, because you can't do it. You can't buy apparel and give apparel away. You can't do any of that marketing through KOSW. Being owned by the city restricts a lot of things that we can do. And unfortunately, well, we love that the city owns us, okay? That is a great benefit for us. But on the other hand, the radio stations are totally different than a maintenance department, or any other thing that the city has. And it's hard for the city to understand how radio stations work and what their needs are, because it's not a like I say, it's not the water department, it's not this, it's not that. Our needs are totally different.
Well, it's basically the difference. We're a business.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, but the other thing, you were gonna say that there was $7,000 left over?
For what? Oh, for the,
Pointing at?
your prison maintenance, yeah. there was
Right,
seven-
so that $7,000, the taxpayers did not have to put. I would think that would actually, from a political standpoint, would be good. We're saving taxpayer dollars.
Yeah. That money goes back in the general fund. It's money
That's why we
give
took
back.
the budget way down. We took
Well,
budget.
yeah,
plus
well,
was
if
so
you
much
sit
more.
there,
I took
okay,
care of that.
we raise about, what, 12,000 a year on an average, maybe something like that.
12 to 13.
Yeah, okay, that's money that we don't take from the taxpayers. That the taxpayers don't have to pay.
1,500 a year, that's all we want.
Yeah, plus some of the budget, if we don't spend it, that goes back to taxpayer, and all goes to, however the city wants to spend it, we hope they put it towards the tower rental, that's one of the things that we were talking about. We don't have actually raised money, just give for the tower, because if we did that, we'd be broke. All right, we just don't make that kind of money.
Well, actually, a good way to say it is last year, I have to wait till I get the bank statement, but, we raised, I think it was 12,900 and some odd dollars. And we turned around and spent 10,000 or $11,800 on the station. So money came in and it went right back buying things the station needed.
So we're not asking, when we go to the budget, we're not asking the taxpayers to pay for everything, other than mainly our expenses. There's a few dollars.
We, North Beach Independent Media or
No,
KSW?
KOSW.
Okay.
And there's an extra couple, 2 or 3 grand left over after the bills, that if we don't spend it, that goes back to general fund, and that saves, that's $3,000 the taxpayers don't have to pay. So basically, we're trying to save the taxpayers a lot of dollars. They don't even have to worry about it. The biggest expense for us right now is the tower. And if we could afford the tower, we would take it over independently from the city, but we don't have $40,000 a year to pay for a tower.
Yeah.
Maybe someday, if we get more support helping these concerts and events that we're doing, that's our big money raisers. If we could get an average income every year of 100 grand, we could do it. We're not even close to that.
Yeah, I don't know
Halfway
whether
there.
you can get there.
Well, we're about halfway
Right
there
direction.
right now.
It's kind of confusing. We,
Them did.
okay, when you say we, so it's.
North Beach Independent.
Yeah, well,
So
somebody
what's-
admin or station, because
Yeah.
you say we.
Right. I'm sorry.
All I'm asking for now is just you said you have a worksheet, right? I just want to, if I can just see, do we keep track of, it's every top of the hour generally, is it every, I don't know if it's every time, but brought to you by, and then we play the underwriting thing. Is that logged? Do we know what underwriting spot played this day? Can we just get a sheet of that from this last month so we can see what we're working with? That's to start with. That's not a lot of information, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
I mean, I constantly.
I mean, I can sit there and-
You know, we constantly dropping people off, adding people. No, I have to a 24-hour grid that is a real pain to try to work everybody into the
Sure.
right spots.
That'd be great to see. I mean, Cause then I think it's a good start and it shows, you know, hey, we got this good resource here, you know? I'm hoping on the end of it, there's more, that we can sell this for more and really get it going and everybody makes more money on both sides.
If anybody can go to KOSWradio.com on our website, it's at the bottom scrolls, every one of our underwriters are scrolling down, you'll see every one of them. If you go to a certain page, you open the page up, there's a rotation of our underwriters going through there.
Right, but he wants to, I understand what he's saying. He
Yeah.
wants to see the
We
schedule.
can have the list, we have the
I just
schedule.
want to pretend a radio station for a minute and want to see, hey, look at their spots, and who's playing their spots, their slots. They're, you know.
Well,
That's it.
before we had North Beach Independent Media selling the underwriting, we were getting an average about 10 underwriters
And
at a time.
well.
It's exciting to hear new
right-
ones on there.
Yeah, right now, well, let's see, we've dropped because this is the off season. We're probably right now at like 31, 32, but during the summer season, when that's when everybody wants to do it, we get up near 50.
Yeah,
And trying to divide those out over 24 hours so
you
that.
should have some prime, you know, prime time. I don't know if you have ones that take, cost
You
more
know,
time or not, but.
We did that last year, but that created a bit of a.
Everybody wanted to go prime. So what are you gonna do?
That's not a bad thing though,
No,
is it? Come on.
It's kinda, you can have a half hour.
No,
run.
I like hearing that. It's great. All right. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, this please.
One of the things that you mentioned before is an ad agency rate, so
Yeah.
I think you just kind of brushed over.
Yes.
What you want to see is like,
Yeah,
Hang on one second. Marty, hang on a second. Daryl's talking. Hang on one second, Marty. Go ahead,
so
Daryl.
I used to sell radio advertising. And we would sell it, we had an agency rate and then the retail rate. And as a salesman, I sold it at the retail rate. And then the wholesale rate was what an ad agency came in or a big client that was spending a buckload of money, they got the wholesale rate. It's, so when you sell it, when NBIM sells an ad, an underwriter, how much, what's the price?
It depends.
it's tiered.
Okay, what's the lowest tier?
All right, for this year, because, you know, every year we redo
Okay,
it. So this year, rather than come up, you know, we used to have all these hokey names like Hall of Fame package, rock star package.
Great.
We did away with that. Instead, we just got them tiered. Do you want it on 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 4 times?
How much
a day,
for 2
5
times a day? Bottom.
Well, but I'm getting to that, or 5 times a day. And then you can buy it for either 3 months, 6 months, or a year. So, and I have a grid. And so every time a check comes in, I refer to my grid. The first amount before the slash is KOSW. The second slash is what our independent contractor salesperson is. Third slash is the NBIM administrative fee. So I refer to this every time so I enter in, you know, what goes into the KOSW fund, NBIM's KOSW fund, money to be spent on KOSW. And then, you know, what goes to our salesperson, and then what just goes to us. So if any of you would like to come by, it's packed to my bulletin board because I deal during different periods of the year with a lot of checks coming in. And so even though, you know, Butch and I, you know, we created this and we worked on it and stuff, I still have to refer to it. So I glance over my shoulder to make sure I get everything added in, so it's very copacetic.
But I think the question was, like, so for example, what would be the cost for me to pay for underwriting for my business 3 times a day for 3 months?
And I can't tell you that right off the top of my head because we're talking about 5 different tiered programs at 3 different prices.
Could
You
you,
know,
could you
I
bring that
mean,
list?
but
to the
I
next
do
meeting?
have it listed
Could you
out.
bring that list to the next meeting and share it with us?
Okay, and I mean, and any of you can just come by the station. I mean, Patrick.
Separately though, I'm more concerned just with the number. Hey, these who's playing this hour, this many times. I don't care about the cost side. Just for my information for now. Separately, though, I think he's asking, yeah, what's the agency
Okay,
cost
well-
on it?
You can,
Be great,
you know, can send me a text sometime, tell me when you wanna come by, it's right up on my board,
sure.
and it's constantly changing.
Because the question. I think,
That part he can-
Is how much, if someone comes to you and wants to buy an ad and they give you a $10 bill. I think is the wholesale rate that KOSW gets, is that $2 and does NBIM get 80?
I don't-
Whatever it is, I think that is the question.
That's, I'm just concerned on the wholesale side. I don't really even wanna look and.
I don't care what they get, right.
Yeah, I just wanna know.
There
what the
needs to be
wholesale side-
something that KOSW gets, but whatever the packages are. That's every time something goes out, you make a sale,
Yeah,
here's what KOSW is going to get. And then if you can add on top of that, on the retail side for NBIM, and then you can do whatever you want with that. Then the other money, the money that's appropriate for KOSW should go back probably back into the general fund or into the city budgets.
You just killed us. Why? Because that's where the bulk of the money goes that we get to spend on KLSW. It goes to general fund, we don't have it anymore.
You can still take NBIM and buy things.
We get just a small portion for administrative fee out of it.
Yeah.
you guys,
That's fine.
It's
we're
not
almost out of
much.
time. We only got 4 minutes left, so we're gonna have to.
Marty, you wanted to say something?
Marty, you got something? Real quick, we only got a couple minutes.
Marty? Come on, Marty.
Get to the mute button, give him a second.
No, I think it's,
Maybe just off the boat.
Sorry, Trey, I will text or call you before the meeting and explain what I was wanting. It's, again, just the numbers of. and
okay, well, we
counts.
can sit down, I go for.
Sure. But I will do that beforehand to make sure that way, before the meeting, that we're all prepared and stuff, so. Sorry about that, Daryl, just we only got 3 minutes left, I need to finish, so. And that was new business discussion and public communications, so that's because we got 3 minutes for that. Public communication, anybody in the room care to talk? Anything? No? Anybody online, or is that just us? Don?
Just us.
Just us, all right. Future meeting is gonna be Tuesday, February 25th, right back here in the, right back here, so, yeah. I get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn this meeting.
So now we're adjourned. What do we